Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. I'm going to be doing my top 10 favorite movies of the year. There are a few movies this year that are really good from what I heard that I haven't seen yet, such as Birdman, Nightcrawler, Whiplash, The Equalizer, and How to Train Your Dragon 2. I have How to Train Your Dragon 2, I just haven't watched it yet. And I saw Jeremy Jones did his already, so I figured I'd do mine now. But before I get this started, I'm going to give you honorable mentions. Going out to a couple independent films, Return to Nukem High Volume 1 and Scream Park. Return to Nukem High Volume 1 was kind of underwhelming and disappointing, but it does get me excited for Volume 2, which, as from what I understand, is when things go completely crazy. It has some good scenes in it, though, and some of the gore is really well done. And Scream Park, kind of flawed, but still, the acting is really well done, and when they do have the gore effects, they are really well done as well. There's not many gore effects, but it's still very solid for a horror film, especially one that low of a budget. It's not scary or anything like that, but it is a good, fun group movie if you watch it with a few friends. And also, one movie that I have to give a recommendation to, but I haven't seen it yet, but my friend ate the chosen ones in it, is American Guinea Pig, Bouquet of Guts and Gore, which I just realized what the joke is on that. Flower, Flesh and Blood, Bouquet of Guts and Gore. I finally got that today, which I should have realized sooner because I have seen Flower, Flesh and Blood and Mermaid in a Manhole, so I really should have gotten the joke. But whatever, I haven't seen it yet. When it comes out to DVD, I will watch it though. Here's when it comes out soon. And also a show everyone should be watching is The Strain. Great show, great book series. Anyways, let's get moving. The order of these are movies that I felt were the ones that hit me the most, and the ones I found the most enjoyment out of. So, and they're all the one, and I have all of them on Blu-ray and DVD, aside from the one because it's not out yet. That doesn't come out till about February. But anyways, here's the first movie. The first one, Snowpiercer, starring Chris Evans. I have a feeling Chris Evans just really likes to be in comic book movies. Yes, this is based on a comic book. I didn't know that until I actually read about it. And it's a very good action film. It has a good characters, good drama, light sense of dark humor every now and again. But the problem, not really a problem, but the only reason it's not higher on this list is because it really does anger me. When I watch it, I just feel angry because it's one of those downer action movies. Just hardly anything goes right for these people, but it's still a solid ride, very entertaining, very fun, and the performances are all solid. Next is another comic book film, X-Men Days of Future Past. Not my favorite Marvel movie of the year, but still a very good one. I mean, Marvel movie because, you know, the rights and all that stuff. But still, it holds up very well. Some of the effects aren't fantastic, but it's still a lot of fun to watch. And I have to give it a high recommendation just for that alone. My favorite characters in this movie are all here. I would love to see Nightcrawler make a comeback in one of these movies. But it does go back to the first few movies' roots and still keeps the charm of First Class involved. But X-Men First Class, I believe, is still better than this. That's not a bad thing, it's just X-Men First Class, I feel, was just more enjoyable to watch. And the next is my favorite animated film of the year, and it's the Lego Movie. The Lego Movie was awesome. As they say, everything is awesome. I'm actually really surprised by how much I enjoyed this. It just put a smile on my face while I was watching it. Of course, Chris Pratt was wonderful, and this isn't the only movie of Chris Pratt you'll see in this list. And next is Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. Now, I don't have this out of the packaging yet. Unless I bought it recently, unless it was a movie I absolutely adored, I didn't get it day one. This is a hell of a ride. This is a phenomenal film. I do like, it's similar to Days of Future Past, I like Rise of the Planet of the Apes more because it was more enjoyable to watch, but the action scenes and just the way everything flows through this movie was phenomenal, and I can highly recommend it to anybody. It's a great film. The performances are all solid. James Franco not being in it, I didn't even notice. That's how good this was. And if you haven't seen this yet, you gotta see it. Alright, the next film. I've seen this before, and I finally found a good price for it. I don't know why I didn't get it sooner, but it was one of those films where it was very expensive no matter where you're trying to find. At least I believe it was when I first saw it, but it was on Black Friday, so I got it then. And it's Joe. Joe is phenomenal. If you haven't seen Joe, you're missing out. It's a more or less standard coming-of-age story, but it's the performances in this film. Everyone in this movie is solid. I do not see one character in this movie that's done poorly. If you haven't seen Joe, you're missing out. Joe is one of the best films of the year. Obviously, that's why it's on this list. Nicolas Cage's performance in this, my goodness, this is probably his best performance I've seen, and I've seen him in Kick-Ass. Kick-Ass was phenomenal. He's serious. He's not over the top, even though his beard, it's a real beard, but it looks fake. I know, I saw that picture too. But it's awesome. There's a few disturbing scenes in it, and a lot of scenes where I was kind of like, and it angered me, but still, it's all about the performances. Everyone is spot on. If you want a movie where everyone is solid in their performances, it's Joe. You're not going to get a better movie than this with the performances this year. Alright, here's the number 5. This is the movie that I don't have on Blu-ray or DVD because it's not out yet, and it's John Wick. John Wick. This is a live-action comic book. It's a comic book that was never turned into a comic book. This is how great this movie was. It's just a standard action movie. It's a movie where the guy's dog gets killed and he gets his car stolen and he just goes insane and starts killing everybody. But the fact is, it's so unbelievably entertaining that anything that's simplistic about it is wonderful. There's a few twists in there which are really cool, and the action scenes, it's this year's equivalent to Dredd. It really is. It made me want to read The Punisher for some reason. That's what I mean. It was just a great vigilante action film. And it just put a smile on my face. It's lighthearted, it's violent, it's over the top, but it's not too over the top. It's just all around a great time. The performances in it were all great too. Not as good as Joe, but still, it's one of those movies that just really sits, and I cannot recommend that movie enough. It is so entertaining. It sucks that it's not in theaters anymore because I would love to have seen it again. I saw it, I think the last day they had it in theaters, and if I was going to see it a second time, I wanted to bring a friend with me. But now I have to wait till February till it comes out on Blu-ray. I don't do the digital download thing before a movie comes out because I'd rather have a physical copy of a film as opposed to just having it digital. But John Wick, I will do a full review of that movie when it comes out on Blu-ray. I should have done one after I saw it, but I feel as though at that point it was kind of a little too late, at least with the Blu-ray. I can talk about the special features if it has any. Alright, number 4 is an actual Marvel Cinematic Universe movie. It's Captain America, Winter Soldier. Now, this is one of those espionage thriller films that's done in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. That's really, really interesting that they did that, but it's also really well done. It has some good comedic timing. It has a lot of good plot twists. It has a lot of good action. It's just wonderful. And this is from the guys who made from the show Community, right? I think. Let's see if it has this on here. It doesn't say, I don't think. No, it doesn't say. But it's just one of those films that is just really fun to watch. It's political. It's entertaining. Even though with these movies you can just say, where are the Avengers? Why aren't the Avengers here? They can fix everything. I could say the exact same thing about Thor 2 and Iron Man 3. But you just it's suspension of disbelief. Where are the Avengers in any of the comic books when they're needed? But this has some of the most brutal action scenes of the year, except for one movie that's on this list. Not brutal as in people getting blood spraying everywhere, just that you can really feel the punches, except for one other movie on this list. We're not there yet, but we're almost to that one. Number 3. This is my favorite Marvel movie so far in the cinematic universe. I liked it more than Avengers, and it's Guardians of the Galaxy. Guardians of the Galaxy is great. The director said he wished he could focus on Thanos a bit more, but not Thanos, Ronan a bit more. But I still think, even then, Ronan was still fun to watch. He was operatic and over the top, but still, these guys right here, the main 5, they're wonderful. Chris Pratt, solid. Dave Bautista, solid. Zoe Saldana, solid. Bradley Cooper, Vin Diesel, all great. Vin Diesel says 3 lines in the movie. I am Groot. There's, okay, maybe 5 in total. But if you haven't seen Guardians of the Galaxy, you're missing out. Again, if you don't like Guardians of the Galaxy, you do not have a heart or soul. Guardians of the Galaxy is by far the best Marvel movie to date. And it is one of the most entertaining films of the year. I think it's better than what the new Star Wars hopes to be. It's better than those Star Trek movies. And I love those Star Trek movies. This did Star Trek way better than Star Trek wished it did. This did Star Wars better than I wish it did. Jeremy Jahns said it's like a combination of Star Wars and Star Trek, and that's true. It did Star Wars and Star Trek better than the newer Star Wars and Star Trek films, and I think this is going to be a better Star Wars film than the new Star Wars movie. If you are a fan of Serenity, you'll love Guardians of the Galaxy. There's no doubt in my mind. That's probably why I enjoy this so much. Now, in the comics, they don't use spacecrafts as much. I mean, they have their own little spacecraft to fly around in and stuff like that, but they're more hand-to-hand combat. But still, there is still a lot of action in this film, a lot of space combat, a lot of fist fighting. It's wonderful. It's a lot of fun to watch, and the characters in this movie are solid, spot on. Not entirely accurate to the comic books, of course. It's a movie. They have to change things every now and again. But still, it doesn't change the fact that this is one of the most solidly entertaining films of the year and Marvel's best film so far. Now, if only they can get the rights to Spider-Man back, we'll be on the right page. Alright, for top two. Now, number 2, I saw in theaters with my friend Lasky. It was kind of weird because we got to the movie theater around 6, left at 9. That's how long this movie was. But it felt like minutes. That's how great this film is. That's how entertaining this film is. And a few people have said they didn't like it, but you're wrong. It's that simple. You're wrong. And it's The Raid 2. The Raid freaking 2. The Raid 2, oh my goodness. This is wonderful. This is balls out, bone bashing, gut punching, blood splattering greatness. This is one of those action films that oh my goodness. Now, it's wonderful, but I can't watch it over and over and over again just because of its length. But still, this is better than the first one. This is basically if if someone decided The Godfather needed to be way more violent. The freaking Hammer Girl, these three right here are freaking insane. And when they're on screen, they steal the show. The showdown between Rama and him, oh my goodness, that was amazing. And then the final fight between these guys, that was the best climax of one of the best climaxes of any movie, the second best climax of this year. And the action just flows so beautifully. It's like a ballet. Not John Woo, but almost. If John Woo did martial arts, it probably looks similar to this. A little bit of shaky cam every now and again, but good God, was this wonderful. I cannot praise this movie enough, and if you see my review, I loved this movie, and so I don't really need to say much about it, but definitely, you gotta see this. I hope one day we get the unrated cut of that movie. I'm not sure how much would be different. I remember seeing it in theaters, though, and there were a few scenes I remember being more violent than on Blu-ray. I could be totally wrong about that, but it's whatever. Now, number 1, this is, you can consider it to be 100% biased, if you want to. He's my favorite movie character of all time. He's a part of my favorite movie series of all time. So, my number 1 pick is Godzilla. Godzilla. This used to roar, but the battery died, and I don't know how to fix it because they haven't plated up here. I think that's where that's where the battery is. I think I can't fix it because this is all sealed off. If someone knows how to fix that, let me know. And my goodness, this movie completely blew my mind. This is as close to an American Godzilla movie as we're gonna get, and it is true to Godzilla. A lot of people complain that he's not in it much. That's just how it is. He's hardly ever in the story. But when he is on screen, he dominates, and it is wonderful. The acting is all solid. Some people say the acting wasn't that great, but I thought it was fine. But that final showdown at the end, is some of the best kaiju action of any movie I've ever seen. I liked it more than Pacific Rim's final fight. It just felt so impactful. Everything felt like it had weight to it. It just, anytime Godzilla showed up and would smack a Muto, it just felt like there was an impact, something there that needed to be felt. And it just blows my mind, and it gives me chills on my spine every time I think about that final fight. And any time I think about Godzilla in that movie was wonderful. Even the end scene with him in it, his very last roar, just brought back so many great childhood memories. Godzilla was my guy back when I was in 5th grade, and I kind of shouted off him until I was in high school, and then I was so happy when I heard that they were finally making a new Godzilla movie, and Toho now is making their own Godzilla movie once again. The G-Man is back, and I am so happy about it. And this just goes to show that Godzilla is the king of cinema. He's the king of the monsters. No one is better than Godzilla, and is proven in this movie alone. Not as good as Godzilla, the original Gojira masterpiece, but still, it is a wonderful film. Definitely one of my top 5s in the Godzilla series for sure, and that says a lot because I love all of them. Anyways, that's my top 10 list of favorite movies of this year. I hope you all enjoyed it, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace.